Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Dutchmen Discussions for episode 7. I'm Mike Freeman, Director of Athletic Communications, and today's guest is newly appointed head women's lacrosse coach, Rachel Perla. We'll be discussing her background and playing experience, and we'll look ahead to Coach Perla's expectations for 2021 and how the Max realignment will affect the Dutchmen. So we hope you enjoy LVC head women's lacrosse coach, Rachel Perla. So we are now joined by newly appointed LVC head women's lacrosse coach, Rachel Perla. Rachel, it's great to see you. Haven't met in person yet, but talked on the phone a bunch. First of all, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So how, this interview is a little different than the normal ones. We're going to ask you some different questions. First and foremost, how have you been holding up, and how has this pandemic affected you?
Yeah. So, obviously starting this job has been really busy and it's given me something to do again, which honestly feels so good. It feels good to be busy and wake up and have to-do lists again. So that part's been good. In the beginning, it was difficult, obviously, because it's your busy season. Then you go from 100 miles per hour to 0, and it's confusing. So now it feels good to get back into the swing of things and have some sense of normalcy.
Yeah, in the spring, you guys were kind of, when you were the assistant at Scranton, right in the beginning quarter of your season, and all of a sudden they say, well, actually, we're going to cancel the rest of the year. And it's just devastating, like, to look, all over the country at it and all these schools. It's just, I really feel for the coaches, student athletes especially, and everybody involved. It was just, it's crazy, but, everybody's, in the same boat, and we all have to adjust. But hopefully we can get lacrosse going, hopefully a little in the fall, and then definitely in the spring of 2021.
I know, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. So can you kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your coaching background, your playing experience, everything like that?
Sure. So I am originally from Syracuse, New York. I went to high school at Christian Brothers Academy, and we won 2 state championships there. I was really lucky to have a great experience there. And then I went to play lacrosse at St. Bonaventure University, which is small D1 school, Western New York. And there I had 2 head coaches and about 9 assistant coaches. So my career was a little crazy, and I had tore my ACL my freshman year, so I only actually competed 3 years. So a lot of bumps in the road, but it was, I learned a lot from each person that I came across in each bump in the road. I mean, I know a lot of what I like and what I didn't like, and so that's really helped me become a coach, and I think the coach that I am, because I have so many experiences to draw from. So yeah, I got my job at Scranton close after I graduated from college, and I was there for 3 years, and that was a really great experience for me. I had 2 really great bosses. I was the interim head coach for one fall as well, and so watching that program grow from my first year, we were probably like just above 500 to our 2019 season. We were 16-3, really historical season, nationally ranked in top 25 all year. So that was really great to see, the progress. And I think that's helped me behind the scenes of what it takes to get to that point, and scheduling and all about the regional ranking now. So that was a really great experience for me. And so yeah, now I'm here and I'm so happy to be here.
That's great. I'm in Western New York. Did you ever, I'm sure you had to battle the snow a few times up there, and you've probably played some cold February and March games.
Definitely. And especially, being from Syracuse too, it's when that's all and then I moved to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it's only 2 hours south of Syracuse, and it seems so much warmer. And I'm like, why did I ever choose to go to school in New York? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. You just drive down 2 hours, and then you don't get that lake effect weather, I guess. And then, it's freezing in the winters, and then as you can see this summer, it's 95 and humid most of the time.
Yeah, I know. The extreme from when we start our season to when we end, it's like we start and it's still snowing, and we end and it's like 95 and sunny. Our
That's
sport is crazy.
that's so funny because we have that the little press box up at our field, and the the late February, the early March games, all the student workers are coming up because they're freezing. And then, when April and May roll around, they're coming up because they're so hot. So it's
Right,
funny
exactly.
how,
You can't win.
no, I know. Just, yeah, those 2 months can make such a big difference.
I
Um,
know.
so I'm sure you've talked to the team
Mhm.
already. How have you kind of been keeping in contact with them since you can't really go and see them?
Yeah. So in the beginning, we did a team meeting with everybody there just to introduce myself and chat a little bit, and that was really great. And so we've been doing a lot of individual meetings now, so to really build that one-on-one relationship. So last month it was a lot of get to know you as a person, get to know me as a person, and then this month we're transitioning to more of lacrosse meetings of tell me what motivates you, tell me two areas of improvement, tell me what you're really good at. So that'll be really interesting to know them as a player now, and I think knowing them as a person first helps me then coach them, and I want to build that trust with them. So it's been a lot of individual meetings and um, yeah, just trying to get to know each other so that the fall is as smooth as possible, so that they feel like they know me and we can hit the ground running a little bit if that's possible.
Yeah. Entering my fifth year here, I can definitely vouch for the women's lacrosse players. They're awesome. They're awesome people, especially to our athletic communications office. Whenever we do the headshots or, just seeing them around, they're always asking how I am, how's everything going, how busy are you, and everything. So they definitely, it's awesome to see them kind of take time out of their busy schedule just to walk by my office and say, hey, how's it going. It's the little things that you know
Right.
we really appreciate. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, they've been awesome and really welcoming, and um a lot text. We text almost every day, some of us, so it's been really great to build that relationship. But that's good to hear that they're respectful too. Good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. um so thinking ahead to 2021, what are your expectations? Obviously, that they women's lacrosse won the conference in 2019, went to NCAAs for the first time and won their first game against Merchant Marine, then lost to eventual NCAA runner-up Salisbury. So what do season last year wasn't
Mhm.
really a good measure, I don't think, just because they only played 3 games. So what do you, after, watching film or whatever you've been doing to look at women's lacrosse, what are you kind of expecting going into 2021?
Yeah, so I think, I think about this a lot because it's, not really knowing what our landscape is even going to be like. It's hard to say, I could sit here and say, I really want to hit the ground running. I want to win X amount of games. I want to win the conference championship. But I'm also well aware of the mental impact of being quarantined and COVID, and also dealing with a new coach and new systems. It's all of that is a very heavy combination. So I'm well aware of that aspect. So for me, an expectation and a goal is to work those kinks out and have that be as smooth as possible. But, an expectation for me, you mentioned Salisbury, and that was actually the first game I added for our schedule this year. So upping our strength of schedule and making sure that we're staying competitive, and making sure that whatever our threshold that our team can get to, that we're getting to in whatever capacity that may be. I would love to be in the championship game again this year, but I also, again, I know that it's not going to be as easy to hit the ground running this year, given they played 3 games last year, and it's not that's not even enough for the freshmen last year. So now we're dealing with incoming freshmen, but then the sophomores who are also inexperienced because they lost the season last year too. So I know that there's a lot of underlying stressors, I guess. So just navigating that and making sure that this season can be as smooth and productive as possible.
Yeah, and I think you'll see the MAC Commonwealth, as what we play in. I think it's tough. I know everybody says that about every conference, which is true, but I just feel like in the Commonwealth, everybody knows each other so well, and it's if you don't, bring your best, as the Mac says, then you're going to be down 6-0 before you know it, and it's tough to come back from that. But yeah, like you said, the preparedness is definitely something that's going to be huge, especially for those conference games. And then, adding the non-conference, that strength of schedule is also important as well.
Definitely.
So speaking of the MAC, I'm sure you saw that the little realignment that happened. So Arcadia and Lycoming went to the Freedom side, and Eastern came from the Freedom to the Commonwealth, and York came from the Capital Athletic to the Commonwealth. So that definitely shakes up women's lacrosse a little bit, I think, since York is always top 10, top 15 in the country. So
top 5 at least,
yeah. How do you think that's gonna affect you guys?
Yeah. So I mean, we're adding 2 competitive teams, and like you said, York is historically very, very competitive. So that was, my thought process of adding Salisbury is we need to schedule in order to compete with York. York can't be the hardest game that we see each year, and then we roll up and expect to beat them. So we really need to make sure we're preparing out of conference. I mean, them coming to the MAC Commonwealth is great for us. I mean, it adds our strength of schedule. It's a great competition. So I'm so happy to be playing them. But with that being said, we have to make sure that we're taking proper measures to make sure now we're competing. And then, the following year, now it's a game. Now we're winning. And now, we're the champions again. So, making sure we're taking those steps, because it's going to be hard. They're very good, but it's going to be really good for our conference.
Yeah, I think there could be some new rivalries that start with York, with it not being too far away, and both Pennsylvania schools. So we'll see. Well, hey, Rachel, I want to thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it, and we'll see what this fall brings, and hopefully you guys can get some practices in, and then start fresh in 2021.
I know. I hope so. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, you got it. See you.
Bye.
Thank you to Coach Perla for joining us on episode 7 of the Dutchmen Discussions, and thank you to everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more episodes, and we hope you guys stay tuned. Hope everybody stays safe, and go Dutchmen.